Hey guys, Genesis chapter 11. We're just going to keep going here. What I liked about this is the Tower of Babel story. And it says, now the whole earth had one language and one speech. Could you just imagine? No need for learning foreign language in schools or anything like that. They all spoke one language and had one speech. And it said it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. And I think that's very interesting because the group of people that were together were basically saying, hey, we don't want to be scattered away from each other. We want to just stay right here. And I find it interesting because when God was talking to Noah after the flood, in chapter 9, verse 7, it says, and as for you, be fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply it. And so the command was to go out and just spread over the earth and multiply and fill the earth abundantly. But this point, they were like, no, let's all just stay right here. Let's build a huge tower up into reach into heaven. And God looked down and said, wait a second, that's not what I asked you to do. And so in verse 5, the Lord comes down to see the city. And I think that's interesting that he came down, to see it, which the sons of men built. And he said, wow, indeed the people are one, and they all have one language, and this is what they've begun to do. So not so shortly after, I don't know how long, I haven't studied that part, but here again, there's a bit of rebellion going on. The earth, after Adam and Eve brought in that sin, Noah, they had the flood, wiped off the earth. And so the earth is being repopulated, and yet here we go again in humanity. We just can't get it right, you guys, on our own. We just can't. If the Bible is just very clear that when man is left to themselves, they're very rebellious. We're very, our hearts are evil and intentions, and people will do just really wicked things without Christ. And so again, God intervenes, and he says, verse 7, part of the Trinity, come let us go down, and confuse their language that they might not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of the earth, and they all ceased building the city. Therefore the name of it is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over a face of all the earth. Could you imagine? Like, you're all compacted, you're all building this tower, and then all of a sudden, whoop, God scatters you across the earth and saying, there you go, there's that. So this is the establishing of the nations and the cultures, and our differences that we have today is from this point, because then you're going to find different people in different regions are going to worship differently. They're going to, use the resources they have. Some will be artisans of different trades, and then eventually the world is going to be trading and seeking to find things elsewhere. And so it's just like the start of the civilizations of being spread out, of different dialect and different speech, So now it's going to be harder for man to work together and come to some pretty bad devices. But the cool thing is in this chapter, there's another genealogy of Shem, and like we looked at that, this is the one for, it's going to be the messianic line. And as it goes through, and you can read it later, we come to verse 26. Now Terah lived 70 years, and he begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So here he is, 70 years old, and he has a son named Abram. And this is the genealogy of Terah, and he's going to go again. And Haran let's see, and Haran begot Lot. Okay, so again, we're looking at specific genealogies for specific persons that are going to be continuing in the story of the Lord. And then Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Isaac. I don't know. Anyway, but verse 30, but Sarai was barren, and she had no children. And Terah took his sons Abram and his grandson Lot and the sons of Haran, and they went out with them from Ur of Chaldees to go to the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they dwelt there. So these are the days of Terah, 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So, we're seeing that man is not living as long on the earth. They're dying earlier. Noah, he lived 950 years, and just after a few, through the generations, now we come to Terah, who lived 205 years, and that's still pretty ripe, long age in that time. And then it's just going to decrease slowly after that. But why is this important, and why is this genealogy important? Because again, it's setting up for God's covenant that he's going to make with man, and eventually through the Messiah, the coming Messiah. So, we get this genealogy. It's kind of fun when you read the Bible, because it's just setting up the right characters and the right setting and the right plot, and you get a lot of conflict, and resolution is always through Jesus Christ. And I love that. So, beforehand, God told Noah, go be fruitful and multiply, and now we're going to get to a special, they call it the Abraham's covenant, or, that is going to bring a lot of blessings and just hope for this earth and in this world. So that comes up in chapter 12. So that was chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. And thanks, guys, because now we have to study all these different languages. But anyway, in one day, God will bring us all back around to one language and one voice under him. So, Maranatha, let's redeem the time. God bless you guys.